In the last 90 days, I've stopped taking on coaching clients and actually started doing the work for my clients. And the results are insane. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how we've added anywhere from 5 grand a month to 15 grand a month to our clients' businesses without them having to do any extra work. So the first point to start with is, why did I stop coaching in the first place? Now, at the start of this year, I decided to fire pretty much everyone in the business that wasn't absolutely necessary for dealing with clients. That went from everywhere, from our ads team, copywriting, anything to do with any of the marketing and sales in the business that was outsourced or even hired to someone else. I completely got rid of and took it all on myself. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to systemize and learn every single step-by-step process that was happening in the business from top to bottom. Because I ran a coaching business at the time and was helping my clients run a coaching business, I wanted to be able to make sure that I could get the very, very best results from my clients, and I knew everything like the back of my hand. So instead of letting someone else run my ads or having someone else write the sales pages and ads and copy and things like that, I took it over and did it myself. And from there, I realized what worked and what didn't, what I should run, what I shouldn't run, what I should write and what I shouldn't write. And I systemized that into processes that I could then use for other businesses. Because I did that, I was able to then train my team on that process. So I had specialists in each area that I brought in and trained from scratch on ads, on setting, on copywriting, on everything that I basically needed to do to scale a business. And I had people that came in from zero, and I taught them my processes and exactly what I wanted done. And then we did a test with some of our CEO clients, who are our clients that earn over 5 grand a month, and the results were ridiculous. One of our clients, Sam, went from 7K to 20K in just 90 days. He had to hire another coach to take on all the clients that he brought on. Brendan went from 7K to 20K in 5 months. He would have been faster, but he spent a bit of time dicking around in Thailand, pretending he was a Thai boxer. Adrian went from 3K to 10K, and we actually had to stop doing a lot of the stuff that we did because he has a full-time job and he couldn't take on any more clients. He's in the process of getting out of that now though, so be ready for his results soon. James, who was stuck at 4 grand for about 3 months, he went to 12 grand a month within 60 days. And Steph went from 4 grand a month to 14,000 pounds in her first 30 days of working with us. And to be honest, the results were so good, the process was so smooth, and it was such a great time for us as a business to be working with these kind of clients and getting these kind of results that we just decided to not do anything else. And that's the great thing about having your own business. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. This for us is a way that we know we can get results because we control all of the variables ourselves and we do the work for people. So instead of trying to teach someone how to write ads, instead of trying to teach someone how to generate leads, how to talk to people, how to do the DMs, we can just do it for them, and we can train one person to do it and put it into 30 businesses rather than teach 30 business owners how to do it. And you've also got to appreciate the fact that some people aren't good at everything. Some people aren't good at talking to people. Some people aren't good at writing. Especially, we work with a lot of personal trainers and fitness businesses. Those guys usually aren't the most academic people. That's not a bad thing. They're great at coaching people. They're usually great people, but they're not the most intelligent at writing, scripting, persuasive language, tech, that kind of stuff. So this allows us to kind of fill in where they're short and do a lot of the heavy lifting for them, which allows them to do the stuff that they're really good at too. So now I'm going to break down the process of how that actually works and what we actually do. And you're probably in one of two camps right now. You're either in camp one, where you want to learn exactly what the step-by-step process is so you can try it yourself, which is more than fair enough. Or you're in camp two, where you're thinking, okay, I want to understand how this works so I can potentially hire you to do it for me. Either way is fine. Both require the same level of information and understanding, so I'm going to break down exactly what we do now. The first step is, our main job is to generate qualified leads. Now, we have to figure out what a qualified lead is for a lot of our clients, because they usually don't know what a qualified lead is either. So we have to create a document which says to us, this is our qualified lead. And to do that, we have to look at who they get the best results with, who they enjoy working with the most, who pays them the most, and who stays in their program the longest. Okay, so we take down a load of information about their business, about their history, about the previous clients that they've had and the best results that we've had, and we turn that into an ICP document. And that ICP document is a literal blueprint of, this is the exact person that we're looking for. We're not looking for anybody that will buy our program. We're not looking, say it's a fitness client, we're not looking for anybody that's overweight, that's got money to spend. We are looking for the perfect person that's going to be the best blend of, I will pay you, I will work hard, I will get results, which is then going to allow us to obviously market further and get more of these ideal customers. So we have to define what that is. And to define what that is, we have to look at their life, their age bracket, male, female, do they have kids, do they not have kids, how much do they earn, what kind of jobs does the ICP have, and then go into more second layer things. What are the things that they really want and why do they want it? What are their big frustrations? What's holding them back? What always pulls them off track? What other things have they tried previously? What have they spent previously? What things do we need to say? What things do we not need to say? What content should we make? What content should we not make? What does our profile need to look like? What shouldn't it look like? And we build this into a social media strategy handbook. Now, this is so important that we do this because I've had so much extensive history in the industry. I understand what works, what doesn't work, and also I just have a bit more of a market in mind for things like this. So I can usually take a look at a business and within the first half an hour go, yeah, that'll work, or I'd probably change that because it's going to be really difficult for you. And the problem with a lot of coaching, consulting, business mentorships, that kind of thing, is they have the client do that. So they give you this document and they go, cool, fill in this document as deep as you can and do all the deepest work that you do. And I know that because I've done it myself. The problem is when you usually get that document back, it's more than likely shit. Because if the person knew all of that stuff and they understood their target market that well, they probably wouldn't be paying a business coach for help. So the problem is it just ends up rocky from the start. So we actually sit down and we do that process and we create that document because we know what we're looking for, which means that when we give it to the client, they usually go, oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it, which is the ultimate goal for this part of the process. The second thing is building out the social media strategy. Now, social media strategies aren't created differently. If you're targeting 30-year-old women, 45-year-old men, ex-athletes, people that are in high-powered businesses, people that need to lose the first 10 pounds, people that need to lose the last 10 pounds, all these people are different people, which means that they need a different social media strategy. And again, one of the problems with coaching is you can't literally build an individual social media strategy for every single client because you'd be there all day. Part of coaching is trying to teach them how to do it from a framework. Again, problem is they don't understand the customer, they don't really know what to do, and then it ends up being shit. And you end up having to tell them to do it again and again and again and again, when instead we just build the social media strategy that we know is going to work for that particular person. And that comes again from years of understanding, from years of education, from years of just being in the trenches, running these kinds of businesses. And from there, we know exactly what we need to say. We know what kind of content that they like and respond to. We know what content we need to stay the fuck away from, which is another massive problem that coaches make. We know what lead magnets to make that they will download, that they will actually read and consume. Do they need a group? Do they need a course? Do they need something that's a 5-minute consumable? Because everybody needs different things depending on the target market. We also know what offers they respond to. Do they respond to a really high-powered 90-day high-ticket transformation? Do they respond better to a 6-week softer approach? Do they respond to a very, very long-term 6-month, 9-month, 12-month process? It depends on the target market, and we help build that out as well. So we give our structure and recommendations individually for every single client and for their target market. That's a lot of the foundation work done, and that may seem kind of boring, but it's super, super detailed and super, super important because of the next steps that happen. Because the next step is turning on the lead flow, which means that we run ads to get these kind of qualified leads into the business. And to do that, we have 3 separate strategies. It depends on budget. Obviously, if you've got a massive budget, we can go straight to the booking people straight on the calendar. If you've got quite a small budget, we might need to just generate leads and followers first and then work those leads and turn them into calls later down the line. Depends on the client, it depends on their target market, it depends on their budget, and it also depends on their confidence in the process. So we tailor it to the client, but generally we use 3 strategies. One is a content framework. So we run follower ads to generate followers of the ICP. This is probably our least favorite strategy, to be honest with you. And it's the one that's butchered the most because not every lead is the same. So we can get you 100 followers a day, but if 70 of them are junk and are never gonna buy, it's just gonna ruin your following. So what we do is we tend to start with more lead magnet ads. Lead magnet ads are great because again, we've done all the work. We've built out exactly what lead magnet they need. We know that this target market, this ICP, want this lead magnet and they will download it. That means that when we've got people opting in, they're saying they want the lead magnet, they're commenting underneath the post or they're filling in a form, we know that they're the exact person that we can sell our program to, which means that when we're having a conversation with those people, we know that there's a chance that they're going to buy. The other thing we can do is run more direct ads, which is for people that have got maybe slightly larger budget or they've got a little bit more appetite for risk. We can go straight to, this is our program, this is what it does, these are the results that we get, DM, comment, fill in the form, apply on the link, whatever it is, whatever you decide is the best strategy, we can go straight to a direct ad to. And we write, script, and edit all of these ads for our clients. Because again, strategy might be fine, but if the execution's wrong because the client doesn't understand it correctly, or they're just not that skilled at that process, then the whole thing falls apart. So we do it for them. We literally script it step by step. We tell them exactly how to film it. We get the raw film, we get the materials that we need, whether it's client results, photos, testimonials, that kind of stuff, and we edit it all together. We also manage and launch the ads to make sure that that's done correctly. It's set up so the coach doesn't need to learn Ad Manager, doesn't need to do any fancy tech. We also set up all the tracking sheets so they can see exactly what's going on every day inside their lead generation. The next step is taking over the DM management from our clients. Now, even if we run the direct ads, what happens a lot of the time is people will see the ad and they'll still click through to their Instagram profile, follow them, engage with some content and things like that, even if they book on. If we don't use the direct ad and we use a more lead magnet ad, then obviously they're going to opt in for a training and we're going to reach out to them and book them in for a call. And if we use follower ads, for example, we're going to reach out to every single one of the followers, qualify them, make sure they're the right fit for the program, and then potentially book them on a sales call from there. Now, that is a workload, and this is one of the major reasons why most coaches don't grow their business, because even if they do manage to generate leads somehow, it is very fucking difficult to run a business and put the time into lead generation that's needed. We have two setups for this. If somebody wants to grow at a good pace, we set 4 hours. If somebody wants to grow at an extremely fast pace, we set for 8 hours a day. You will literally not have the time in the day to do 4 to 8 hours worth of focused work working these leads. But for 4 to 8 hours a day, we will book anywhere from 2 to 5 sales calls a day for our clients. That is the difference between explosive growth and spinning your wheels, because the problem is once you start making sales and taking on clients, you then have less time to do the lead generation. And then what coaches do is they spend hours and hours and hours, months and months and months trying to find a way around doing the work. I'll tell you this for free, there is no way around doing the work. The only way is to hire through it. Now, the problem with hiring someone else to do it is they're usually quite shit. You don't really know how to do it at scale. You've not set 5 calls a day on average for the last 30 days. You don't really know how that's supposed to look. At this point in my career, I've hired over 100 DM assistants, okay? Whether you call them a DM assistant, setter, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them a DM assistant for this because people might not know who they are. I've done it over and over and over again. I've done it for fitness businesses, I've done it for B2B businesses, I've done it on LinkedIn, I've done it on multiple platforms for multiple businesses. I know how to run and manage these teams. I have literally made, I'm trying to tally it up in my head, I don't actually know, but it's well north of £5 million from literally lead, DM set, sales call, close. Okay, that is my process. That is what I'm good at. And that's what I train our team to do so you don't have to do it. Because again, one of the problems is when this happens to you, you know that being in your DMs is fucking boring and it's dead difficult and it's actually mentally quite draining work. You signing up to do that for 4 hours a day in peak times between 5 and 10 PM when your clients are most accessible is like a fucking death sentence. And therefore you don't do it. And therefore you convince yourself that you don't need to grow your business because you're actually just afraid that more growth becomes more pain. We remove the pain for you and just do it. Nobody actually doesn't think that DMing is a good strategy. It's just people don't like doing it because it's boring, and I agree with you, which is why I hire it out too. So we do a few different things that most people don't do with this process, that even if you maybe find a setter or somebody trained in setting and closing, the management is a fucking ball ache because they need babysitting. We do that for you anyway, but we also build out some systems that allow that to happen. So we build out the scripts based on the ICP, based on the ad strategy that we're using, so they have a very, very simple process to follow. We also build an AI clone of you based on your content, based on your background, and based on the things that your ICP might ask due to the work that we've done earlier. And we basically create an AI clone of you within that process. That allows the setter to ask the clone questions instead of bothering us and bothering you, to answer any technical questions or things that are a little bit out of scope that a setter might not be able to answer. They then work like a fucking animal for 4 to 8 hours a day in your account, and their only job is to fill your sales calendar. It's their job to turn interest, leads, and applications into people that show up for you to close them. That is their only job. That is all they're there to do. That is their sole focus of their day, which means that they're going to be 100 times better than you at it because they actually want to do it because it's their job. They're that type of person. That's what they do for a living. And once you've got your calendar full of calls, our final job is to make sure that you can close them. And that comes from our sales upgrade. So we set up all the automations that mean when people opt in, they get a text welcoming them, they get a set of emails that show them a little bit more about your program, your service, the results you get. We also build a sales page that they get sent before the call too, that handles some objections before they even get on the call, and it pre-sells them on the results that your program is going to get for them. That means they show up, objections are already handled, they know about the program, they know the results they're going to get, and you're there to basically walk them across the line. With that process and one-to-one sales coaching from our team, in case you need any tune-ups on anything, we generally get a 40% close rate on a program of £1,000 plus or more. And we know that will happen because of the whole process. We've got the ICP right, we've generated the right kind of leads, and we've built the right kind of sales process. It generally works like a charm. And that is the process. We build the framework and the foundations. We build the social media strategy and the brand strategy. We script, edit, and manage the ads. We take over your inbox to turn the leads into sales calls, and we upgrade your sales funnel to make sure those leads are closed into your program. And that is why our results have been so good over the past couple of months, because we have not allowed any outside influence to affect the results that we get for our clients. So if something happens at home, you have a bad day, tired, you go on holiday, kids are off school, whatever it is that usually slows your business down, that doesn't happen anymore because our team don't have that. And if it does happen, we have the infrastructure to be able to have someone else do it in case of emergencies. We're not only a way of growing your business, we're also a safety blanket to make sure that if shit does go south for you, it's not going to go south for us too. And that is the process. So now you've got two choices. If you're in camp one and you wanted to know the strategy of how to do it, that's it. That's exactly how it is. Go put some hard work in, watch all my other YouTube videos and figure out how to do this process for yourself. If you're in camp two and you want to know exactly kind of how the package looks, what it costs, all that stuff, we actually customize this to your business. This is a proposal-based process. So we look at your Instagram, look at how many clients you've got room for, look at how fast you want to grow, and then we put together a proposal of exactly how fast we can do it, how many calls that we can get, etc. We obviously need to look at your business and audit your current process already first. So if you want that to happen, we do a 15-minute call, find out more about your business, audit the process, then we'll go away, put a proposal together, tell you exactly how long it might take, what the prices are, etc. Then you can decide if that's a fit to get on a second call with us, and then we'll kind of onboard you into the program. So if you want to book that 50-minute audit call, just click the link below, that'll book in a time, and you can get started on this. More content coming from me will be about what we're up to, the changes that we're seeing in the market, the things that we're implementing with our clients, and the testimonials and the stories of the clients and the success that they've got. Hopefully that was useful for you, gives you a bit of an insight into what we're doing and how you could work with us in the future. And I'll see you next time.